Our ranch represents smaller operations. Those smaller operations have been a result of larger ranches having been sold off or subdivided. The total acreage that these, what we're now calling smaller operations, make up is huge. It's a tremendous number of acreage in private land states. I'm Jim O'Rourke. I'm with Laura O'Rourke, my wife, and children Seth and Shannon. We're at the Rougeau Den Ranch, south of Chadron, Nebraska.
I'm Laura O'Rourke, and I moved here with Jim in 1988. Grew up in rural Utah. In Jim and I's case, we both have degrees in rangeland science. So we both are very much actively involved in the management of the ranch. We both are really well tuned into what practices happen. We work together side by side, which is nice because we both think alike and it's really fun.
We manage the ranch by ecological site. And basically on the ranch, we really have 4 different types of landscapes. One is the riparian area. The next would be the first benches just up off of the riparian areas or the stream. And the third would be upland range, and the fourth would be the timber country. So on the riparian area, these are areas that were cultivated years ago, and that cultivation occurred nearly right up to the stream banks. So our objectives have been to widen that riparian area. We've planted probably 10,000 different trees or shrubs representing probably 100 different species. And so the idea was to have stable stream banks, to cool the water, better fish habitat, better wildlife habitat. At the same time, this is a ranch, and so we needed livestock production on those riparian areas as well. So we graze every bit of the stream bank, but at very limited periods. A lot of the trees that we planted also are hardwood species, and so we're looking at a hardwood lumber or wood market way in the future. And in this arid environment, you're talking 100, 150 years. So planning or land stewardship in this part of the world is not a short-term deal. The number of plant species on rangelands is enormous. There are a tremendous number of forbs, lots of variety, extremely important to other animals, bees, insects. So much we don't know about range entomology. What are the microbes in the soil? How important are all of these forbs to that other plant community, not the ranch producing income animals that are grazing out there. All of those plants, of course, are conducting photosynthesis. That process of photosynthesis takes in carbon dioxide. It releases oxygen. We are interested in sequestering carbon. Rangelands are extremely important in sequestering carbon, as important as our rainforests. When you consider that 50% of the Earth's land surface is composed of rangelands, that's a tremendous carbon sink that's really got to be managed, as importantly as our rainforests. Conservation has just always been important to me. When I relate it back to this place, I think about my grandparents, and they never did say that we want this place to go to the family. We want one of my children to move back to this ranch. We want the grandchildren to be back on this ranch. I never heard them say that, but you knew that.
The big thing I would look for is that if someone remembers us as true land stewards who cared about the resource and tried to spread that word on good range management, good riparian management, and just think about the long-term sustainability. And also trying to get that next generation involved, trying to get them up and running and passing the place to that next generation so that it will happen. And if someone can remember us as, gosh, those guys did a good job, that's all I need.
I know that my grandparents and my parents, they're watching from up on that butte. They're happy. So am I.